சரி, நம்ம இப்போ அடுத்த செஷன் போகிறோம். அதுக்கு முன்னாடி இன்னைக்கு மதியம் எல்லாரும் செக் அவுட் பண்ணலாம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லியிருக்கிறாங்க. கிராண்ட் ஹைட்லேருந்து லஞ்ச் டயத்தில் நீங்கள் எல்லோரும் செக் அவுட் பண்ணலாம். செக் அவுட் பண்ணிட்டு அதுக்கப்புறமா ராத்திரி பயணம் மேற்கொள்ள இருக்கிறவங்க வந்து உங்களோட லக்கேஜஸ் எல்லாம் நீங்கள் வந்து அங்கே இதில் லாபியில் அவங்கள்ட்ட சொல்லி வச்சுட்டு போகலாம். இப்போ கிராண்ட் ஹைட்டுக்கு இப்போ எல்லாருக்கும் வழி தெரியும்னு நினைக்கிறேன்.
ஆமாம், கண்டிப்பாக எல்லாருக்கும் வழி தெரியும் அப்படின்னு நான் நினைக்கிறேன். கண்டிப்பாக லெவல் 39க்கு போய் உங்கள் ரூமுக்கு நீங்கள் போயிடலாம். ஆக 39 அந்த ஒரு தாரக மந்திரத்தை மறந்துடாதீங்க. அங்கே தான் போய் அங்கிருந்தா தொடக்கம் முற்றுப்புள்ளி எல்லாமே.
ஸோ எப்படி எங்கேயாவது ஒரு இடத்துக்கு உள்ளே நுழையணும்னா அதுலேருந்து எப்படி வெளியில் வரணுங்கிறத நமக்கு தெரியணும். அதுதான் வந்து ஒரு பிஸ்னஸ்க்கும் அது பொருந்தும். அதனால தான் எப்போ வெளியில் வரணும், ஏன் வெளியில் வரணும், எதுக்காக வெளியில் வரணுங்கிறத தெரியறதை பற்றி தான் அடுத்த செஷன் பார்க்க போறோம் நம்ம.
The exit gate, when, why and how to exit your business. அத பற்றி பேச வராரு
டாக்டர் Ganesan Subramanian, founder and MD of Kannapa Memorial Hospital and Cancer Center. Let's give him a big round of applause.
மலை தோன்றி பொதிகை மலை தோன்றி வைகை நதிகள் வழி நடந்து மதுரையிலே வளர்ந்து எங்கள் நாட்டுக்கோட்டை நகரத்தார்கள் நாவிலே நடனமாடி எங்களின் அடையாளமாக இருக்கின்ற தமிழன்னைக்கு என்னுடைய முதல் வணக்கம். கோலாலம்பூர் நகரிலே மாசில்லாத தமிழ் பேசி உலகமெங்கும் நகரத்தார்களை எப்படி சிறந்த மனிதர்களாக்குவது, தொழில் அதிபராக்குவது என்று நடக்கும் இந்த மிகப்பெரிய ஐபிசிஎன் மாநாட்டில் எனக்கு வாய்ப்பளித்ததற்காக அனைவருக்கும் நன்றி கூறுகிறேன். ஆனால் இப்படி தொழில் துவங்குவதற்காக நடத்தப்படும் மாநாட்டில் ஹவு டு எக்ஸிட் என்ற தலைப்பில் பேசுவது கொஞ்சம் முரணாக இருக்கலாம். ஆனால் I thank Mr. Alagappan because he touched upon the point that the exit is equally important. That's probably what I am going to talk for the next maybe 20-30 minutes. The exit gate is as important as the entry gate. We all know from Mahabharata that the Abhimanyu entered the Sakravyaga without a proper exit plan. And you know what happened to Abhimanyu. So in a business also, the exit plan is as important as your entry plan. So let me talk about when, why and how we should. Can I have a hand mic also please? So as I said, it's very nice. So this will be something like a case study. In fact, I am going to tell why I exited my business when I was really doing well. And it will be sort of based on the typical Harvard Business School case study. So it may sound a little academic. And if any one of you feel that this has been something like an MBA class, at the end of the lecture, you please pay me a tuition fee of $5,000 each. Next one. I started High Tech Center about 36 years back. In 1986, with as have been repeatedly told, with the investment of 40,000 rupees and a loan of 1,10,000 rupees from Bank of Mahindra. And in October 2021, I exited for a total value of, in an all-cash deal, 637 crores. This is nothing to be really proud of, because in today's world, the fintech, the edutech, and the marketplace companies achieve such a kind of valuation in less than a few years. But on the other hand, I am proud that in the healthcare service industry, I think some of the doctors here will agree that creating value is very difficult. Particularly typically in a brick and mortar industries, creation of value is not as easy as in the e-com industry. So why I did exit? The business was growing at a 15% CAGR which is pretty good for industry that's 36 years old. And it was the first recall brand in South India, particularly in Tamil Nadu. And we had a really very good reputation brand equity. And imagine an EBITDA of 35%. So why anyone should exit such a business? People really thought that, I'm a fool to exit this business. So, but I decided to exit. Why? Because exiting your business is, at the right time is very, very critical. As starting your business, if not more. You can start a business any day. It's not that you should exit this month or next year, but exit should be timed properly. A properly timed exit can give you a lot of value than an unplanned exit. So if you are in a loss, the exit strategy will act as a stop loss. Something like your share market. So you buy a share for about 2,500 rupees, you have a stop loss at 2,200 rupees, so that you lose only 2,300 rupees. You don't allow to run the loss. Am I correct? So anybody who is trading in the stock market without a stop loss is going to lose a lot of money. But this being your own business, you should be emotionally willing to accept the same principle of stop loss for your own business also. And if you are in profit and if your valuations are high, I think you should monetize your hard work over a period of 3 decades or 4 decades or whatever the number of years you have worked. There is no point in keeping on working. Another reason, sir, why? There is no family succession. In many cases, that's possible. In my case also, my son wanted to do something bigger, something better. In fact, he feels that healthcare is the one that generates money as also generates a lot of complaints. I think Palnipin will agree that healthcare develops more complaints than any other industry. Then retirement plans, I won't agree because I am not able to retire. It's extremely difficult for entrepreneurs to retire. The exit just means that I am going to enter into something. It could be another business, or it could be something more relaxing, like that I have horses like that. The need, as I said, need for finance to start another business. That's exactly what IBC means. When you have created a great value, you exit that one business and start. I invested in 12 industries, except one cancer hospital. Nothing else is related to healthcare. And as I said, great valuation which may not sustain. So there will be two kinds of exits. Those who plan to exit and those who have to exit. So we better be a person who plans to exit rather than somebody who has to exit because of various reasons. So we should actually formulate a proper plan for exiting the same way as we plan for entering. And the motive for our exit and the motive for our business should define why and when do we exit. When to exit? Age, not just your age. I'm 66. I can still run for about 4 or 5 years. And my business is 36 years old. In fact, there's a saying that if you are able to run your business successfully for 25 years, never exit. But that all worked in the past. In today's ever-changing world, I think you should exit at the right time. You need not stick on to the same business. And bullish secondary market, that's extremely important. When you are selling a private limited company, your valuation will always be linked to the secondary market. In September 2020, when I started negotiations, the secondary market valuation of healthcare companies was sky high. There are 4 listed players in the diagnostic industry. Imagine they were trading at a PE of 120, 130 multiples. Unimaginable. So I realized that this cannot sustain once the COVID goes away. Imagine 120 PE for a brick and mortar company. I can understand for a company in fintech like say Paytm or Swiggy, where growth rate is something like 700% year on year. But healthcare industry cannot grow more than 25%. So in such industry, 120 PE is amazing, not sustainable. So I realized that I can give a discount to the In fact, a private limited company cannot demand the same valuation as a listed company. You have to give a discount for liquidation, a discount for size, discount for presence. I was present only in Tamil Nadu and parts of South India, so I cannot demand the same valuation like a company which is present all over India. Okay. So, and of course, I did not have health issues except that I had COVID twice, but still, thanks to Dr. like Palaniappan, I was able to get on very well. In fact, what I want to mention is I referred about 90 of my staff members to Dr. Palaniappan of Medu Hospitals. And all of them were saved and are doing well till today. Thank you, Dr. Palaniappan. And another thing is impending or expected technology disruptions. What if suddenly today, most of the taxi companies have disappeared. Most of the restaurants are dependent only on Swiggy and Zomato in India. You enter a restaurant, you don't see any guest sitting inside, but you see 10 or 15 Swiggy guys standing outside. So your margins are going to be under pressure. Swiggy is not going to give you the same price as the customer. They will ask for 40-50% discount. And what these guys is, they supply 40-50% of the quantity. And of course, during COVID, we also faced a lot of supply chain issues, both local and international. But thankfully, actually, the only industry benefited in COVID maximum is healthcare, rightly or wrongly. And what are the strategies I can have to exit? IPO. An initial public offering is the very ideal way, but it's pretty time consuming. You have to probably start preparing about 2 to 3 years ahead. And you should have a really strong financial and legal team. And the compliances are extremely stringent. In today's SEBI and BSE, they have a lot of stringent conditions before you can exit through a IPO. Then you can merge with an existing company. But in merger, you get the shares of the other company, but you don't get any cash in your hands. So I ruled out a merger. Then reverse merger. Reverse merger is a very ideal way. You buy a small company that's already listed. I, in fact, located a company called Lal Chandani Labs with a market cap of about, say, 7 crore Indian rupees. If I was able to reverse merge my company with that company, my valuation could have been 1,000 crores plus. But unfortunately, the Indian government doesn't encourage reverse mergers. And to my surprise, I found out that even in the big 4 financial companies like KPMG, Deloitte, PwC, and E&I, many people were not knowledgeable about reverse mergers. Reverse merger is, I think, the way Americans and Europeans exit, not the Indians. Then sale to a friendly buyer. I do not have any friends who can afford the cost of my company at the time. Then retire without selling business also is possible. So as I said, the IPO is, I can also partially exit it. But the problem is if I partially exit, then the problem comes, how do I value the rest of my stake? And size and timing is also important. You should exit when you are the right size. If you have grown too big, people may not have the money to buy your company. And when you are going to sell it, when you are small, you are not going to raise the value. Of course, if this is about IPO, if you can really go to an IPO, your value can be 10x or 5x. Merger is, as I said, it's a complete exit, but we are not going to get any money in our hands. And if you partially exit, there's going to be a challenge in valuing the rest of the stake. We can have a put option with an IRR within a specific time, or we can opt for a partial exit with a higher valuation for the balance stake, or leaving the business in the right hands is important. But the point number 2 and 3, the partial exit with put options and partial exit with a higher valuation, your buyer should agree. Your buyer is very unlikely to agree because the business may not grow at the same rate. And IRR may not be sustainable for them. Reverse merger, I said, is really not an Indian context, so I will just skip that. Sales to a friendly buyer is a very, very ideal thing. If you have some family members or your friends in other businesses are willing to take, you can join them and you can sell it to them and continue to run the business as if you are still the owner. That could be the ideal way. And you can also form a family trust that can run. And these things, will result in much less due diligence because they are your friends, they are going to trust you, so you are going to save a lot of money and time in due diligence and also reduced legal fee. In fact, I paid, I think, nearly 2.5 crores to my lawyers and about 7 crores to my advisor, a single advisor. If I employed like KPMG or A&I, I would have paid probably 2%. That's about, I would have paid something like 13 crores as the advisory fee alone. Then the transaction challenges will also be minimal when you exit to a friendly buyer. You are retired without selling. This is the typical Murugappa Group concept. You will be the owner of the business, but you need not manage. But somehow I did not want to follow that because I thought I will probably pursue my other things. And when you do that, you manage that, you may think that actually you have to let a lot of things go because when you engage managers, they might manage the way you like. I am a perfectionist, and that's the biggest problem in business. The comfort zone and an eye for perfection are the biggest enemies of the business. In fact, I used to say comfort zone is the most discomforting zone for any businessman. So how do you prepare for your exit? First, you sit with your family. The family should be willing to exit. They may say, why? It's not necessary that we should get money. Why don't we continue that? Then we should prepare ourselves mentally. Sometimes many people, particularly in South India, we think that the business is a baby, not a business. So nobody wants to sell a baby. Anybody would like to sell a business, sell a share, but not a baby. But unfortunately, many of the South Indian companies think that the business is their baby. I think most of you will agree. And particularly in healthcare, I am not dealing with products, I am dealing with patients. So most of these patients are going to call me and contact me even after they sell the business, which is actually happening now. So you should emotionally try to detach yourself from the business. It's a tough job. I think it has taken quite a few months. But now I know that I have sold my business. That's not mine. Every day morning I tell this. Ganesan, you have sold your business. It's not yours anymore. You don't bother about what happens there. If the patient calls you and tell them that I am not the owner now, call so-and-so, call their customer service center and you stop there because it's not your business anymore. That mental let go is a little difficult, but you have to practice that. And also, we must have, as I said, the moment you buy them, get all the money into a bank, definitely all your relatives are going to find where you are. Somebody will come and say, Doctor, I have seen you 20 years back in a meeting. Okay, I will first meet up. And how to exit? You have to appoint a consultant. In India, we try to appoint one of the big fours, as I said, KPMG, and like that. Or they are actually very, very expensive. So I went to a small boutique investment called Metis. Then we better do a vendor due diligence. And then that will actually keep us to fasten the process. And we did go on an online bidding so that we realized a better value. Again, this most of things. Best is that we pay off all the creditors, pay all the taxes, clean the balance sheets if any, like loans and other things. Or you could have actually taken a lot of money from the company, so you put it back and clean your balance sheet and complete all legal and statutory compliances. Like, customer cases or cases filed by you or cases filed against you, try to clear all them. Still you will have something, enlist all the litigations. In fact, if you go through some of the balance sheets, I have gone through one of the, I don't know name the company, it's one of the consumers company, they sent the printed balance sheet. I found that there are about 1,900 cases filed against them. It's a listed company. So you should have, as I said again, it's almost a repeat, and tell your key employees. You can't suddenly leave them. In fact, there are about more than 30 employees have been with me for nearly 20 years. So you have to tell the employees, somebody may like to leave, somebody may like to continue. So you have to make sure that we inform the employees and keep them very comfortable. And we have to sort of, from both sides, from the buyer side and seller side, we have to establish a team, a transition team that will take care of, transition the business smoothly to the buyer. And as I said, you have to remove yourself physically and mentally from the business. Your team should ideally consist of valuation specialist, a financial advisor, a transaction intermediary, and a very powerful attorney with experience in corporate law, and a tax consultant. Valuations can be arrived at using different models: discounted cash flow, free cash flow, brand value, and goodwill. And if you have any of the business running your premises, you have to value it separately, because the purchase is going to buy your business and not going to buy your properties. If they are keen on buying the properties in this business is running, you have to make sure that the property value is added to the business value. And you have to look at valuation of a similar business that has happened in the past 3-4 years. In fact, the Indian diagnostics industry should thank me, because the typical valuation in the Indian diagnostics industry is between 16 to 19 multiples of the EBITDA. But since I had a very strong brand value, I raised about 24 multiples. So if you have seen the deals that happened after my deal, like Thyrocare to Pharmacy, it happened at the same multiple, 28 multiples. So because of me, Thyrocare got nearly about 1,200 crores more, because I have raised the multiples from 18 to 24. Instead of going through discounted cash flow, free cash flow models, I went through the EBITDA multiple model. Yes, that's the one that will really give you a better value, and that's also easier to arrive. Otherwise, I have to go to somebody like David Wessels or somebody. Okay, these are the values that will be determined, your brand value, your HR consultant and other things. And another thing you have to carefully look at it is the non-compete clauses that your purchaser is going to put. In fact, my purchaser has put that I should not deal in medical devices at all. So my valuation has to be added for that. Imagine if I cannot sell any medical devices, not just laboratory devices, how much I could earn. So that has to be built into the valuation. That's why I was able to demand. I agreed for that. That's why I was able to demand higher valuation. And non-compete geography. Many companies may say that in the entire world you should not start a laboratory. But I restricted to India. And the transition period, they want 5 years. If that 5 years is not transition period, it's a working period, I limited my transition period to a certain months, but your non-disclosure clause, I cannot tell that. But it's not 5 years. Okay? There's so many other value determinants. I think most of will be, and as I said, you have to look for the right opportunity. So you have to wait till the right guy comes. And we have to keep our ego in check. When you are negotiating, some words can flow from either side. So you have to look at the big picture and make sure that some worldly duels do not result in the failure to finish the deal. In fact, in any deal, it's very important that the deal should be closed. After that, what I am doing is the only in healthcare, which is going to be in treating cancer patients, rare cancer patients, relapsed cancer patients that cannot be treated by others. I am not going to compete with any of the existing cancer hospitals, but I am going to complement them. They can send patients to us who have already relapsed or refractory. Then my other 11 businesses are not related to healthcare. They are in food and beverages. I have actually followed one NBFC also. So that's what. You have to plan your exit in such a way that you realize the great value that you have created over a period of 3-4 decades, and also you also become an entrepreneur. So exit doesn't mean that after that I am going to tour the world all the time, attend all the marriages, all the Kumbhabhishekam. You can't spend your life enjoying yourself. you will enjoy your life only when you help others. And helping others is starting another enterprise, which means that you are going to help your customers and also employ a lot of people. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm ready to take questions. Yeah. Any questions? Or you can ask me during the lunch.
One question is okay.
Yeah.
Three questions in one question.
Okay.
One is that you are by profession doctor.
Yeah.
For the youth, can you advise when did you change it as entrepreneur, and are you late changing to your entrepreneur that you should not have studied doctor if you had felt that you are going to be an entrepreneur? That's my question number one.
Okay.
The second question is, you are in the exit gate, somebody is entering in the gate, right?
Yeah.
So how do you say that he is wrong? It is to be proven whether you are right or he is wrong. Or
Yeah.
he is right or you are wrong over down the line after 5 or 10 years.
Okay.
So how you see that you are successful and how he sees that this is successful by. That's point number two.
Okay.
Third is that you are bringing an IPO, which is again a re-entry and commitment to the public and the shareholders.
Yeah.
And you had put on the exit class or exit shop.
One
So
of the
how do
way-
you redefine that as a IPO is also an exit? Is my three questions.
Can you repeat your first question? Yeah.
No, you are a doctor by profession.
Yeah.
And doctor is a salaried job.
Yeah.
And if you had felt that by entrepreneur as an avatar, your numbers are strong and
Yeah.
you want to be a businessman, you should have selected some other hospital management or some other course to become an entrepreneur than that of studying doctor, which is a very long duration to study. Doctor has to study for, I don't know whether you are a MBBS or PG. If it is PG, it is 10
PG.
years,
PG.
10 years of life.
Yeah, right.
Do you think that you wasted 10 years and come into business, or do you think that you should,
Yeah, I do agree with Dr. Muthaiya. In fact, doctor வந்து ஒரு கடிவாளம் போட்ட மாதிரி. Most of the doctors cannot think beyond healthcare. நான் ஒரு கேள்வி கேட்டாங்க, 10th படித்தவன் கூட சம்பாதிப்பானா, எம்எஸ்சி படித்தவன் கூட சம்பாதிப்பானா அப்படின்ட்டு. எம்எஸ்சி படித்தவனை பார்த்து 10th படித்தவன் சொன்னான், நீ படிக்கிறதுக்கு வந்து 10th அப்புறம் +2 2 வருஷம் படித்த, பிஎஸ்சி 3 வருஷம் படித்த, எம்எஸ்சி 2 வருஷம் படித்த, ஆனால் நான் 10th நான் ஏர்ன் பண்ண ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டேன். நீ எம்எஸ்சி படித்தப்போ எங்கிட்ட 50 லட்சம் ரூபா இருந்தது அப்படின்னா. பட் இந்த எம்எஸ்சி படித்தவன் வந்து, if he is intelligent and smart, he can start a business and he can earn that money in 1 year. So it depends on how intelligent you are, how smart you are in capturing a business opportunity. Next is the right question you asked, when you are selling, why somebody else should be buying. That's what's happened in the secondary market. You think that the price is going up and you are buying the shares. But somebody else thinks that the prices are going to fall, that's why he is selling. In the similar way, my purchaser felt that they can add lot of more value, something like a purchase consolidation, they can save money, there's a HR consolidation, that's why the purchaser bought. So exactly like in the secondary market, the reason why you sell is that you think that the prices are going to fall, and the buyer thinks that the thing is either who is smarter or who is foolish. So when I buy a share, what do I think? It's going to go up. Then why somebody should sell it to me? He could as well keep the shares, you know. So the similar thing happens in the primary market also. So next is both entering and exiting or the business are equally important, and they should be planned and timed. And I would suggest that timing the exit is probably more important than timing the entry. Any other questions? I hope I have answered.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Ganesan Subramanian, for an insightful talk. Definitely, exiting your business is something that is very, very important.